Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2019 Bad Boys sequel, Bad Boys for Life. Now this film is directed by, and I know I'm going to butcher these names, Adil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah. I hope I got that right. And it once again stars Will Smith and Martin Lawrence as Mike Lowrey and Marcus Burnett. And this time round it's the third Bad Boys film, and this time round the Marcus and Mike have been around 25 years. Marcus wants to retire. Mike Lowrey is going through a little bit of a midlife crisis, and there is then an attempt made on Mike Lowrey's life by an unknown hitman, who then goes on to eliminate other targets in the city that may or may not have a connection to Mike Lowrey's past. This lights a fire under Mike Lowrey, and he decides he's going to hunt down and try and figure out who this person is and who tried to kill him. And Marcus initially doesn't want anything to do with it. He just wants to retire quietly. But something happens. They end up getting back on board as partners and trying to figure out who this unknown hitman is and what connection it has to them. All in the while they are helped by a younger squad on the team who are equipped to try and deal. They're like a task force. It's equipped to try and deal with threats like this. Right, so that's the basic outline of the story here. What are my thoughts on Bad Boys for Life? Well, I have to say I really enjoyed this. Who would have thought? Certainly when they announced that they were doing another Bad Boys, I was in two minds about what to expect from it. It felt like a little bit too much time had passed, a little bit too much water under the bridge had taken place, and I wasn't expecting an awful lot. Now this one obviously isn't directed by Michael Bay. That's either a good thing or a bad thing depending on your thoughts on Michael Bay. Although interestingly he does actually make an appearance in the film Michael Bay, which I thought was really quite nice. But the two directors, even though it's not Michael Bay directing, the two directors film it almost feels like an homage to how Michael Bay would direct it. There's certain things filmed that make you think it's Michael Bay directing at times, but there are other things that feel fresh and new in regards to how this has been filmed. So it should please fans of the other two Bad Boys films who like that style of filming, and it should also please those looking for something a little bit fresh put into these series of films. So I was quite impressed with how this was filmed. It really did feel fresh and new while familiar at the same time. The action scenes are all really well done, really competent, really hard hitting at times, and this film delivered something that I wasn't expecting. A real emotional punch. It's got some real emotional weight to it, this film. There's a couple of things happen to it in this film that really gives it an emotional edge and gives it I think it gives it an edge on the other two, in a sense of it feels like there's more at stake here, whereas I think everyone will agree in the first two Bad Boys films the guys that were chasing in those two films were basically the same person. They were drug barons, or very generic bad guys, and they were very forgettable. Well, here we have something a little bit different. There's a little bit of a mystery. Who's doing this? What connection is it to Will Smith's character? What connection is it to these two guys? So you kept guessing for quite a long time. And there's a reveal takes place that was unexpected for me, and I thought it was quite a brave thing to do, but it really worked, and it made it feel more personal to these two guys rather than just another criminal running around Miami that these guys have got to stop. It had to be something special to certainly bring Marcus back on board, who was enjoying his retirement, but to bring these two back as a team. And you understood why they teamed up again in this film. It really made a lot of sense. So I enjoyed the writing for this. It was nicely done. I kind of expected quite a lazy film, really, because all you really needed to do was do some good action scenes and stick these two together, and the chemistry would have done the rest, and it probably would have pleased a lot of the fans, even though it might have been quite a soulless film. But they haven't rested on the laurels here. They've actually gone out of the way to try and make a pretty good and pretty relevant sequel to these first two films, and I think they've really succeeded here. It's the best Will Smith film I've seen for a couple of years, certainly. I thought he was really excellent in this. A lot at stake. Marcus was the one cracking most of the jokes, and the chemistry was still there between these two, and it really worked for the most part. There's a, it's not a perfect film, not by any stretch of the imagination, and if you're not a fan of the first two Bad Boys films, you probably won't care about this. But if you are a fan of the first two Bad Boy films, I think you're going to enjoy this. So yeah, that is my take on Bad Boys for Life, and at the end of the film it certainly leaves it open for more. So if this is a success, I think we possibly could expect another Bad Boys film in the next few years. Who knows? So that's my review for Bad Boys for Life. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and of course I'll see you next time for more reviews on Screen Stars.